The joke's on them. Harry and his brother Alex are dying to fit in at Camp Spirit Moon. But the camp has so many weird traditions. Like the goody camp salute, the odd camp greeting, and the way the old campers love to play practical jokes on the new campers. Then the jokes start to get really serious, really creepy, really scary. First a girl sticks her arm in a campfire, then a boy jams a pole right through his foot. Still, they're just jokes, right?
Welcome to Goosebumps Overviews, the show where we talk about Goosebump books and judge them on their merit. Tonight's episode is book number 45, Ghost Camp. That's right, guys. We've done books about ghosts, we've done books about camps, and now we're going into books about ghost camps. Okay, seriously, Stein, how many books have you done on ghosts, and how many books have you done on camps? Come on, man. I guess he decided, hey, I love both of those, I'm gonna slam it together and make something amazing. Well, Stein, my boy, I am afraid you've made a great error. This is Ghost Camp. Starting off with the cover is rather goofy. Now, don't get me wrong, I really like the cover and the detail. You all know that I like it when the covers show off the setting more. But this camp, first of all, I like how the sign just says camp. Second of all, this marching line of ghosts doesn't really come off as scary to me, but is comedic. And third of all, this girl's face. Wait a minute. Girl. Did the writer not know that the protagonists were male? Who is this? Also, look at that lightning. Man, that is dramatically timed. How many Goosebump covers do this? This is like, I think this might be the first book that's done this, but a lot of books, I remember a lot of books in this half of the series do that lightning thing. It's really rather quite strange. Doesn't really add too much to the scare factor, it just kind of comes off as silly too. But overall, it's a good cover. This story involves the characters Harry and Alex Altman. Great name, by the way. They're the only two kids on a bus to Camp Spirit Moon. Horrible name, by the way. Which, they're going to the camp pretty late, so that doesn't seem too odd, but that does set off a few red flags pretty much immediately to me. Anyway, these kids, you're going to find that a common theme, where these kids will notice things that are a bit off, and kind of just shrug it off. And that's most of this story, unfortunately. They arrive at the camp to find out that it's completely empty. Not a soul around. Harry and Alex go into a complete panic, only to realize it was a joke and all the kids were hiding in the woods, because the kids like to play jokes on the new campers. But as Harry and Alex are getting more involved in this camp, the jokes that the campers play get a little too out of hand. They almost seem a little bit too much real. They almost seem a bit too real. A bit too scary. And strange things are being added up on top of that. For example, this kid gets a pole shoved right through his foot and he just shrugs it off. A girl sticks her hand into a fire, and there's this mysterious blue ooze everywhere. And, okay, this part kind of confused me. There's this black fog that's roaming around the camp. Now, isn't that smoke? Just call it smoke. I've never heard of black fog before. That's kind of weird. So the first half of this book is mainly just the kids playing pranks on Alex and Harry. And most of the time, they just kind of shrug it off. Haha, it's a joke. But when some seriously weird things happen, that there's no way in hell this could be a joke, they just ignore it and shrug it off. And that's the first Hell, not even the first half. The first 2/3 of this book is them being pranked, and them shrugging it off, and them going, hey, you know, that's kind of weird. Dude, you guys are fucking idiots. Get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. So much trouble could have been avoided. And that part of the book is a bit infuriating and slow. And the fact that it is like that makes this book far less memorable. And honestly, I didn't even remember the story of this until I read it. I've had it for years. Well, the one that wasn't stolen anyway, I've had it for years. And I did not remember a single thing about this story. Harry and Alex are kind of borderline retarded characters, and I'm not too interested in them. The camp story itself, involving the ghosts and everything. By the way, there are ghosts in this story, believe it or not. In case you can figure that out, it's kind of painfully obvious to everyone else who's reading this. But the actual ghost story behind the camp is somewhat interesting, if not explained, because there's a lot of things going on in this book that get no explanation, and the ending and climax are so fucking stupid, come out of nowhere, and it's a complete deus ex machina. I do like the twist at the end, though. The very last twist. That's pretty good. A few extra comments before I get into spoilers. One of the characters, Alex, likes to sing, and he makes plenty of references to the Beatles, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. Stein's referencing a kid who likes 60s music. That reminds me of me. Except I'm not an idiot. At least I don't think so. Anyway, I did enjoy that part, that little snippet. And I enjoy the semi-well put together kind of ghost story that's told by the camp counselor, Uncle Marv. But other than that, this book is stupid, and it's forgettable, and I would just advise avoiding this one, really. It's not going to leave a horrible taste in your mouth, but it is going to be, yeah, there's a few stupid moments, basically. That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So, God. Yeah, it turns out all the campers are ghosts, and that they want to invade the kids' bodies, so they invite kids every day, and so they invite kids every summer so they can have those kids get possessed by campers so that the campers can leave. And that in itself I kind of like. It's kind of interesting. It gives a point to all this. It's not just kids go to a ghost camp so they could die for some dumb reason. So they run into the woods to escape, Alex and Harry. So Alex and Harry try running into the woods to escape. And that's when they come across one of the monsters that the camp counselor Uncle Marv told them about in this spooky ghost story. Some spooky monster, I guess, that they run out into the woods and they hear this thump, and then the monster screams, "Why are you standing on my heart?" And then it tries to eat them. And you know how they resolve this problem? Seriously, take a guess, because it's borderline retarded. By the way, there's like no evidence of this monster even being existing in this story, so that is the most tacked on piece of shit ever, and that kind of irritated me a bit, because I'm like, oh wow, this is actually real? Wow, this is borderline fucking stupid. But anyway, apparently the kids resolve this problem by saying, "You're not real, you don't exist," and the monster disappears. And then they get surrounded by the camps, and then after resolving that problem, they get surrounded by the ghosts. You know how they resolve this issue? They don't. They just escape. They try doing that thing with the monster, but that doesn't help at all. This whole thing, it doesn't exist. Where did that come from? Where did this ideology come from? Screaming that it doesn't exist is going to make it disappear? What? That doesn't make any sense. And why did you suddenly come to this realization out of nowhere? So the ending basically has the kids escaping, and then Alex is possessed by one of the kids named Elvis. Funny, because Alex likes Beatles and Elvis can't sing. I guess that's kind of a... Is that supposed to be a joke? The kid Elvis can't sing versus the kid who can sing who likes the Beatles? Is R.L. Stine a Beatles fan? Does R.L. Stine hate Elvis? I guess we'll never know. So that was Ghost Camp, and I don't like it. It has good parts in it. The build-up, I guess, the motive for the kids being at the camp, that makes sense. But other than that, there's just a bunch of nonsense in this book, and a lot of my least favorite parts of Goosebump books, pointless pranks that go nowhere. That happens way too much in this. And because of that, I'm going to have to give this book a score 3 out of 10. Just, ugh. Anyway, guys, that's been my review on Ghost Camp. Make sure when you go to camp to not be so fucking retarded that you get possessed by ghosts. Thanks for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for next episode where we learn how to kill a monster. Have a scary day.